Have you ever laid in bed at 2 a.m. staring at the ceiling, wondering if you're doing enough? Not just enough in terms of your career or your personal life, but enough in that bank account that's supposed to protect your future. We live in a world where we are constantly bombarded with images of overnight millionaires, crypto success stories, and 20 somethings living in mansions. It's easy to feel like you're losing a race you didn't even know you were running. But here's the first thing you need to understand: financial health is not a sprint, and it certainly isn't a competition against the person next to you. It is a long distance journey against your own habits and the passage of time. Today, we are going to break down the ideal savings milestones for every major decade of your life, from your 20s all the way to your 50s. We aren't going to talk about get rich quick schemes or complex stock market jargon that requires a degree in finance to understand. Instead, we are going to look at a realistic, internationally recognized framework, often called the multiples of salary rule. This framework is used by top financial experts globally because it scales with your lifestyle. Whether you earn $30,000 a year or $300,000, these principles remain the same. By the end of this video, you won't just have a number in your head. You will have a roadmap that provides peace of mind no matter where you are starting from today. Before we dive into the numbers, we have to address the elephant in the room. Why does having a specific target even matter? Can't we just save as much as possible and hope for the best? While saving as much as you can sounds noble, it lacks the psychological anchor that humans need to stay disciplined. Without a target, your brain doesn't know how to celebrate a win. You just keep moving the goalposts and eventually you burn out. The targets we will discuss are based on the rule of thumb popularized by institutions like Fidelity. The logic is simple. Your savings should be a reflection of your spending habits, which are usually tied to your income. As your income grows, your lifestyle usually follows, which means you need a larger nest egg to maintain that lifestyle when you eventually stop working. This is why we measure success in multiples of your annual salary. It's an elegant way to ensure that as you become more successful, your safety net grows alongside you. But remember, these are benchmarks, not laws. Life is messy. There are medical emergencies, job losses, and global shifts. If you find yourself behind the curve, do not panic. Use this information as a compass to find your direction, not a hammer to beat yourself up. Let's start with the decade of exploration, your 20s. For many, this is the most difficult time to save, yet it is arguably the most important. In your 20s, you likely have your lowest earning power. You might be dealing with student loans, entry-level wages, and the high cost of moving out for the first time. The idea of saving 1 times your salary by age 30 feels like an impossible mountain to climb. However, your 20s possess a secret weapon that no billionaire in their 60s can buy back: time. In your 20s, the goal isn't necessarily to have a massive pile of cash, it's to build the machinery of saving. This is the decade where you learn to live on less than you earn. The ideal target: by the time you hit 30, you should aim to have 1 times your annual salary saved. If you earn $40,000 a year, your goal is to have $40,000 in total assets. This includes your retirement accounts, your emergency fund, and any investments. Why is this the magic number? Because of the snowball effect, or what Einstein called the eighth wonder of the world: compound interest. When you save $100 in your 20s, that money has 40 years to grow before you retire. Through the power of the markets, that single $100 could turn into $1,000 or $2,000 without you ever touching it again. If you wait until your 40s to save that same $100, it might only grow to $200. In your 20s, you are planting seeds. They look small now, but the shade they will provide 40 years from now is immense. Your main focus here should be twofold. First, build an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses, so a flat tire or a broken laptop doesn't send you into debt. Second, start contributing to whatever retirement vehicles are available in your country. In the US, that's a 401k or an IRA. In other countries, it might be a pension scheme or a simple index fund. The amount matters less than the habit. Even if it's just $50 a month, start. You are training your saving muscle. Welcome to your 30s. This is often the decade where real life starts to accelerate. You might be getting married, buying a home, or starting a family. Your income is likely rising as you gain expertise in your career, but your expenses are rising even faster. This is the decade of lifestyle creep. You get a raise, so you buy a nicer car. You get a bonus, so you move into a bigger apartment. Suddenly, you're earning twice as much as you did at 22, but you feel just as broke. The milestone for your 30s is to have 3 times your annual salary saved by the age of 40. If you manage to hit the 1x goal by age 30, the jump to 3x by 40 is actually easier than it sounds. Why? Because your previous savings are now doing the heavy lifting for you. If you have $50,000 saved at age 30 and the market grows at an average rate, that money might grow to $100,000 over the next decade, even if you didn't add another penny. Of course, you will add more, and that's how you reach the 3x mark. The challenge in your 30s is managing debt. This is when people take on massive mortgages or car loans. The key to staying on track is to ensure that your fixed costs, the things you must pay every month, don't exceed 50% of your take-home pay. If you can keep your housing and transport costs low during your 30s, you can divert the rest into your investments. This is also the time to be aggressive with your investment strategy. Since you still have several decades before retirement, you can afford to weather the ups and downs of the stock market. Don't be afraid of volatility, be afraid of stagnation. Your 30s are about momentum. You've built the foundation, now you are adding the bricks. As you enter your 40s, you are likely entering your peak earning years. You have the experience, the network, and the skills to command a higher salary. However, this decade is also known as the Great Squeeze. You might be part of the sandwich generation, supporting your growing children while also beginning to care for aging parents. The financial pressure can feel immense. The goal for age 50 is to have 6 times your annual salary saved. This sounds like a huge leap from 3 times to 6 times, but remember the principle of compounding. By now, your investment portfolio is no longer a small garden, it's a forest. In a good market year, your investments might actually earn more in growth than you earn from your actual job. This is the tipping point where wealth begins to generate itself. The danger in your 40s is becoming house poor or overextending for your children's education. While it is natural to want the best for your family, you must remember the oxygen mask rule. You have to put your own mask on before helping others. If you sacrifice your entire retirement fund to pay for an expensive university for your child, you might end up being a financial burden on that same child 20 years later because you have no savings. The best gift you can give your children is your own financial independence. In your 40s, you should also start looking at diversifying your income. Maybe it's a side business, a rental property, or a more diverse portfolio of bonds and stocks. You are moving from the accumulation phase toward the protection phase. Finally, we reach the 50s. This is the decade where retirement is no longer a theoretical concept in a textbook. It's a visible destination on the horizon. For many, this is the time to make catch-up contributions. In many tax systems, once you turn 50, you are allowed to put extra money into your retirement accounts to make up for lost time. The milestone for age 60 is to have 8 times your annual salary saved. By the time you actually retire, usually in your mid to late 60s, the gold standard is 10 times your salary. In your 50s, your focus shifts from how do I grow this to how do I keep this. You might start moving some of your aggressive stock investments into safer options like bonds or treasury bills. You want to ensure that a market crash 3 years before you retire doesn't wipe out your hard work. This is also the time for a reality audit. Take a look at your expected expenses in retirement. Will your house be paid off? Will your children be independent? If your expenses are going to drop significantly, you might not actually need the full 10 times multiple. Conversely, if you plan to travel the world and live a luxury lifestyle, you might need more. The 50s are about fine-tuning the engine. It's about ensuring that the transition from earning a paycheck to living off your assets is as smooth as possible. Now, let's talk to the people who are watching this and feeling a knot in their stomach because they are 45 and don't even have 1 times their salary saved. If that's you, please listen closely. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is right now. Life is not a linear path. People deal with divorces, business failures, illnesses, and family emergencies that can reset their savings to zero in an instant. If you are behind, the multiples of salary rule isn't there to shame you. It's there to help you prioritize. You might need to work a few years longer, or you might need to downsize your lifestyle sooner than planned. The most dangerous thing you can do is give up. Small, consistent actions taken in your 40s and 50s can still create a massive difference in your quality of life during your 70s and 80s. Focus on what you can control. Can you cut one major expense? Can you take on a side project to boost your income? Can you move your savings to a high yield account? Progress is progress, no matter how small. Money is a tool, not a master. The reason we talk about these ideal numbers isn't so we can hoard wealth like a dragon in a cave. We talk about them because financial security provides freedom: the freedom to leave a job you hate, the freedom to support a cause you believe in, and the freedom to spend time with the people you love without the crushing weight of "how will I pay for this?" hanging over your head. If you found this guide helpful, do me a favor. Don't just close this video and go back to scrolling. Take one small action right now. Log into your bank account, check your current balance, and calculate your own multiple. Knowing your starting point is 50% of the battle. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you want more deep dives into the psychology of wealth and practical financial strategies, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Remember, your future self is relying on the decisions you make today. Make them count. I'll see you in the next video.